Are you ready for some unindoctrination? I hope so. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, coming to you from the heartland of America and from my heart to yours. This is the Christian Whistleblower channel, where we let you know that you are divine, you're sovereign, you're free, you don't have original sin, you got the spark of divinity within, and you don't have to go on bended knee because you don't need salvation from anybody's savior. And tonight, a very interesting topic, one that's a little touchy, and for some of you a little feely, but hey, let's try to keep it clean. Believe it or not, this subject we just went over 8 million views. Over 8 million views. Thank you, one and all, for putting this channel over 8 million views, which is absolutely amazing. And over almost 3,000 videos. And the first video I did on this subject is in the top 7 videos that I've ever done out of those 3,000 over those 8 million views. And it's about semen retention. Well, I'm a girl, I don't need to listen. Yes, you do, because this is also about you. We're going to talk about semen retention, no FAP. We're going to give it a balanced approach. And the reason why I can do things in such a balanced way is because I use the MISTEC technology. I've got the bracelets. I've got the necklaces. They keep me at the Schumann resonance. They keep my blood in perfect order. They keep my EMFs where I need them to be. And they also, like this thing would show you, my energy body is dialed in tight because of MISTEC. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the MISTEC logo, and you save a full 20% when you order your MISTEC. You'll never regret it. Full money back guarantee. And if you want to upgrade, they give you just have to pay the difference and keep them both. What a deal. So let's go ahead and let's get into the subject, which makes some of you a little uneasy, but I guarantee you this is going to be powerful, and you're going to be glad that you heard it, because it's a balanced approach, a male approach, a female approach, a single approach, a couple approach, which I think may have been the big thing lacking in this subject. Now, most of this comes from the way of the Tao. Why is it spelled T-A-O and said Tao? I don't know. I don't understand it myself, but it just is. Now, the Taoists they're the ones that pioneered the study of sexual practices, and they call it the arts of the bedchamber, which sounds like a Lifetime movie, The Arts of the Bedchamber, starring Suzanne Summers. But anyway, the arts of the bedchamber are the ways that the Taoists practice sexual activity. They make it out into a science and make it into a big thing. Now, here's the thing, the part I think we've missed when it comes to semen retention. The no FAP guys, the men going their own way guys, and a lot of people, this is it, it's important. And they don't understand that there are applications for single people, absolutely. Really for single guys, not girls. We'll talk about that. And there's also big applications for couples. Some bigger than others, somebody said, not me. But that's where we're going on this. And I want you to keep yourself in the game, because there's going to be some good stuff. Now, these practices are known, especially when you're talking about couples, really exclusively when you're talking about couples, as joining energy, or the joining of the essences. And you see, I believe that's the key. I know that's the key, because there are single applications for this study, single people, and there are partner applications for this study. Practitioners believe that by performing sexual arts, one can stay in good health. I agree. One can attain longevity. Jeff, are you telling me that by a correct practice of sexuality, I can live longer? That's what the ancients say. That's what the technology seems to suggest. Jeff, are you telling me that through the correct application of sexuality, I can even advance spiritually? Yes. And you're telling me that this is pertinent to both singles and couples? Yes. Very, very interesting subject. In fact, this idea of it being applicable to both singles and couples might be the missing dynamic in all the hype about the subject. And it's easy to see why Crossianity makes sexuality so vile. It's easy to see why Crossianity makes sexuality so evil. There's too much potential power within the expression and the mastering and the centering and the focusing of the intention of sexuality. Way too much power for them to allow us to access that. Way too much power for them to allow us to discover it. So they brand it taboo. And that just makes some of us want it more. I'm just being real with you. That's the truth. But your sexuality is, while you're in this flesh, probably your greatest expression of divine-like capabilities. And not just to make babies, but to make things happen as well. This is why Crossianity doesn't want you talking about it. This is why Crossianity doesn't want you understanding it. This is why Crossianity doesn't want you especially knowing it and knowing how to do it in a very intuitive and that's not really the word I wanted, a very focusing and with intention. So let's talk about this a little bit more. There are practices for singles and there are practices for couples. Now, most Taoists will talk mainly about the loss of ejaculatory fluids leading to the loss of vital life force. This is true for the single man. This is true for the single man. If you're a single man, you might want to do and read and consider the really voluminous amount of material that points to the preservation, the retention of your seminal fluid and the way that it increases your vitality, increases your strength, increases your energy, increases your mental acuity. There's a lot of data on that. Back when I was a single guy, I found it to be very profound. I found it to be very helpful. I found it to be very dynamic. Yet, when you are in a couple, the life forces can be shared, they can be concentrated, and they can be increased. It is my studied opinion. I'm always working for you. I'm always doing the study. I'm always doing the research. And this is no different. I am out there, service to others, researching this area of human sexuality. I do it all for you. I work, I strive. I just, even when I don't want to, I study some more. It's all service to others, ladies and gentlemen, all service to others. And I found in this selfless study that when you are in a couple and there is a share of fluids, and there are, that it does not lead to a loss of vital life force because there is an alchemy. There is a joining. There is a sharing. It's called the yin and yang, ladies and gentlemen, yin and yang. And the yin and yang make a whole new thing. And it's powerful. And it's good. And it's divine. And it's creative. So if you're on your own and you're a man and you're losing those fluids, you are sapping your vital life force. If you're a couple and you're involved in the exchange of fluids, then you're actually, if you're doing it right, helping to build and strengthen each other, and you are helping to create something greater and bigger. Now, for the single, excessive fluid loss can result in premature aging, disease, and general fatigue, according to the data and according to the ancient Taoist thought, theory, and practice. Now, I can assure you that in a couple, that is not the case. You get more life, you get more vitality, and you look better, feel better, act better, and you're happier. Some Taoists contend that one should never ejaculate. Again, I think that's relating mainly to single people. Others provide a specific formula to determine the maximum amount of regular ejaculations in order to maintain health. I think that makes perfect sense. Again, when you're talking about single people, when you're talking about couples, that's up to you. The general idea is, as a single person, limit the loss of fluid to the level of your desired practice. Now, these sexual practices were passed down over centuries, and some of the practitioners started giving less importance to the limiting of ejaculations. It seems that for individuals, the preserving of the semen is vital. With couples, it can be taken to another level. Again, is this the reason why Christianity is so against sexuality? And let's forget about being on the cross clingers for a second. What about you enlightened folks? What about you new age folks? What about you truthers? What about you fake cross clingers that don't want to admit that you're cross clingers? You guys want to talk down, and some of you new agers, you want to talk down marriage. Oh, marriage is terrible. You want to be out there. It's like when you get into the new age, there's this divine right to orgies. We want to screw as many different people as we can. That's what some of you want. And some of you take it to the point of making it holy and more spiritual. Oh, it's more spiritual to have sex with more people. Really? Is it? And yet then you kind of look down your nose. You won't admit it, but you look down your nose at those people that say, oh, you know what? I prefer one partner and devotion to one partner. Some of you look down your nose at people that prefer that. And maybe that's because you're falling into the cross-clinger trap of wanting to attack something that is perhaps the most powerful. And that is the ability of people within a committed couples relationship to build, to grow, to create, and to take it to the next level. Just something to think about. The couple is co-creators, ladies and gentlemen. The retention of semen is one of the foundational tenets of the Taoist sexual practices. It does apply specifically to males, and there's different methods to control ejaculation as prescribed by the Taoists. And you can look through those, you can read those. And one of the things that should be discussed is that the Taoists and the other people that talk about this talk about taking that sexual urge, that orgasmic urge that occurs down at the root chakra, and to move it up your spine to where instead of a physical ejaculation, you get a orgasm in your crown chakra, besides in lieu of a physical orgasm. This can be beneficial, obviously, to single people. It can also be beneficial to couples to be able to do that and learn that and understand that if that is something that they want to do or if they want to do individually. It is something that is a pretty profound experience. Taoists believe that when the Jing traveled up to the head, it nourishes the brain. So, in a committed relationship, do we grow stronger with the sharing? I'm convinced that we do. Another important concept in the joining of the essences was that the union of a man and woman would result in the creation of Jing. Jing is a thing. You thought I was kidding. The Jing is a type of energy. When in the act of lovemaking, the Jing forms and the man could transform some of this Jing into Qi and replenish his life force. And by having as much sex as possible, men had the opportunity to transform more and more Jing. And as a result, see many health benefits. So see, if you get into a couple, you can take your yin and you join it with some yang and you make some Jing. The yin and the yang makes a big old batch of Jing, and Jing is a good thing. You want to be more Jingy. You want to get Jingy with it. The more Jing you got, the better you are. Jing is the thing. Get Jingy with it. Get some Jing. Stack that Jing. Work that Jing. Build that Jing. Shake your Jing. Yin, yang, Jing, boom. Powerful. Powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. Health benefits, mental, emotional, physical, intellectual, spiritual, you bet. That Jing is the thing. Get a little bit of your yang and a little bit of her yin and do it again and again and again, and boom, you got some Jing. The concept of yin and yang is important, obviously. And I should have probably talked about that first. Yang usually refers to the dude, and the yin refers to the chick. So the yang and the yin get together. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I have a mnemonic device for it, but I don't think I want to share it. The yin, which is the girl, the yang, which is the dude, they get together and they produce Jing. Now, girls don't have to worry about it so much. They're not losing stuff. That's one of the things about girls. They don't got to worry about losing. But when they can use some yang, though, make their yin even better, because the yin needs some yang to make some Jing. The yang needs some yin to make some Jing. And Jing, you want that jingle, because that's what makes you better, is the Jing. So, therefore, while heaven and earth are eternal, man and woman suffer a premature death. What? You could refer to the female sex, man and woman, were the equivalent of heaven and earth. See, that's what I'm trying to say. It's the most divine thing you can do while you're in this flesh. But they became disconnected, the man from the woman. Therefore, while heaven and earth are still eternal, men and women suffer a premature death. Every interaction between yin and yang has significance. Because of this significance, every position and action in lovemaking has importance. So think about this. The cross-clingers don't want you having sex. And if they do, they just want you having vanilla sex. You don't want to be enjoying that. That's exactly wrong. The more pleasure that there can be had by each partner in the sexuality, the more Jing, the more power. That's why cross-clingers don't want you understanding and manifesting and working in this area. And you can also see, and if you're a homosexual, I'm not here to bother you, but I am here to tell everybody the truth. If you're a homosexual, let's say you're a homosexual dude, yang and yang don't make no Jing. It just don't. Let's say you're a homosexual girl. Yin and yin don't make no Jing. Now, it might be fun, but it don't make no Jing. So why is the dominant paradigm culture here, and I don't think you can really argue this, they are pushing with a militaristic agenda the LGBTQ lifestyle. Now, if you want to do that, that's your business. I'm not here to tell you can't do it, but I am here to show you that if it's not yin and yang, it's not making Jing, and if it's not making Jing, it's just effing. And it is breaking the connection between heaven and earth. It's breaking the divine connection. The divine prescription is yin plus yang. Now, some people would argue, even though I'm in a male body, I'm still a yang. Even though I'm in a female body, I'm still a yang. Even though I'm in a male body, I'm still a yin. I'm not going to debate that with you. But the point of the matter is that, we get this debate. Is homosexuality natural? Well, think about what we've been talking about. What is the main number one basic dynamic of all life? Survive, right? Survive. The number one driving dynamic of all life is survive. And if it remains completely within the natural concept, homosexuality is against survive. I don't care if you got two dudes that love each other more than two people have ever loved each other. Unless they go outside the natural order, they can never procreate. They can never survive. It's against the basic number one dynamic. It's against survive. It's against life. I don't care if you got two girls that love each other more than any two people ever loved each other. Unless they go outside of the natural order of things, they can't create, they can't procreate, they can't survive. It's against the most basic dynamic of life. So the fact of the matter is, no matter how you feel, no matter what you think, and I'm not saying you don't have the right to do whatever you want to do, the best way is yin and yang, yang and yin. And it is the natural order because it's the only way to fulfill the most basic dynamic, which is survive. And I'm sorry if that upsets you, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And I mean, you can not do things and you can do things that aren't good, but you are going to pay an energetic and you're going to pay an ultimate price as a creature who does not survive. Now, what about power couples? For the Taoist, and here's where we get into some good stuff, some more good stuff. For the Taoist, sex wasn't just about pleasing a man. I mean, is there anything else? Oh, that's a joke. For Taoist, sex was not just about pleasing a man. The woman also had to be stimulated and pleased in order to benefit from the act of sex. And guess what, brothers? If the woman is not pleased, then she is not really producing along her yin, and she's not giving no jing. If you can't get your female partner to be pleasured and stimulated and have a good time, then you ain't getting no jing out of it. If you're just there to wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, it's just a waste. And you're a user and a scumbag. I got to make sure this isn't Cynthia saying, shut the hell up right now. It's not. Satisfied partners contribute more. More energy is produced, and more energy can be shared between the partners. If sex was performed in this manner, and this is the only way it's performed, that's around, sorry, honey, but around here, that's the way it works. If both people are satisfied and pleased, they are contributing their power. More jing is made, and more creation is made, more intention is made, more power is made, and everybody's happy, healthy, literally. Satisfied partners contribute more. One of the reasons why women had a great deal of strength in the act of sex is because they walk away undiminished from the act. They don't lose anything. They don't have to recover. So they are sharing their strength with the man, and the man is sharing his strength with them. And together, it's a beautiful thing. Individually, in union, they can help create. They can help the man reach the energy he can't reach alone or with another man. It's just the fact. The woman has the power to bring forth life and doesn't have to worry about ejaculation or refractory period. That means, honey, I need about half an hour. To quote from the Tao Te Ching, the spirit of the valley, I'll let you imagine where the valley is. Come on, dummies. The spirit of the valley is inexhaustible. Draw on it as you will. It never runs dry. I'm not making this up. That's what the man said. And it's true if you're doing it right, guys. Women can give me access to this power. Well, that's not exactly what I meant. I meant men. Women can give men access to this power. I don't know what happened there. Little funny typo. Women also help men extend their lives. Many ancient texts were dedicated explanations of how a man could use sex to extend his life and also extends the woman's life. His life was extended only through the absorption of the women's vital energies, her Jing and Qi, which is produced when he stimulates that yin with his yang. Now, here's where it gets messed up, because it gets into this thing of the battle of stealing and strengthening. Some of you dudes think you can go, and you can, talk a good game, get a girl to give up her key, her what was the other thing? That Qi, Chi, her energy, because she thinks you care, and then you're just stealing from her. And some of you girls can do the same thing. You can just steal from the man without giving anything back. I don't recommend you do that. And you can tell when it's being done, whether it's being done to you or when you're doing it. You know. So don't steal from each other. And the Taoist military actually incorporated these methods. They learned something from sex. Instead of one storming of the gates in military, they would make a series of small feints, which is attack, pull back, that would sap the energy's resistance, the enemy's energy resistance. Very, very interesting. After the Tang dynasty, the Tao of loving was corrupted, and it was that these later corruptions reflected the battle imagery of a vampire mindset. Chicks in it just to steal Jing. Dudes in it just to steal Jing. They both can do it. Don't be a Jing stealer. It's bad. And I would argue, and this just dropped into my mind, that if you steal Jing, it corrupts itself. The couple can create, or the couple can steal from one another, but they end up stealing from themselves because something tells me the Jing doesn't really work like it does when it's truthfully, honestly, and in service to others given and created. Now, in some pre-industrial societies, semen was considered magical. Blood was considered magical. Also widely believed of supernatural origin. And the effect was, as a result, holy or sacred. Don't fall into, anyway, yes. We'll just leave that there. The ancient Sumerians believed that semen was endowed on humanity by Enki. I don't want to get into the whole Enki and Yule. Don't go there with me because I don't care. They're just another name in another story. Interesting. Don't be a thief. Now, the semen of a god was believed to have magical generative powers. You're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. Your sexuality does have magical generative powers. If you're single and you're choosing to save your fluid, it's magic and it's generative. It creates things. It makes you smarter, faster. It'll help you build your muscle. It'll help you lose fat. It'll help you get in much better shape. We're gods. We have amazing power. If we work on our own, when we're on our own, we can build our power. We can work together when we're together, and we can build even more power. The male-female alchemy is the ultimate power generator. The male-female alchemy is the closest thing to true divinity that's ever expressed here in this body. The gods, the Elohim, are male and female, and they created. Here, male and female create, and it is divine. In the Sumerian mythology, Enki seed was planted in the ground. It caused the growth of crops. You got a lot of farmers in farm country doing some freaky stuff out in the fields for fertility. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Nothing wrong with making a little hay behind the corn. And this is an interesting and very odd fact that I found out. The British Secret Service discovered that semen made a good invisible ink. Wow. Could have gone the rest of your life without knowing that, couldn't you? All right, let's talk about energy suicide a little bit. What is energy suicide, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we'll talk about it. Energy suicide is really a thing. Energy suicide is something that we should be cognizant of. Qigong and Chinese medicine place huge emphasis on a form of energy called Jing, which one attempts to develop and accumulate. Jing is a sexual energy. We've talked about it. And it dissipates with masturbation or ejaculation, and that's considered energy suicide amongst those who practice Qigong. Now, according to Qigong, many pathways and meridians become diverted and transferred to the sexual organs during sexual excitement, And the orgasm ejaculation will expel the energy from the system completely. The Chinese proverb is a drop of semen is equal to 10 drops of blood. In other words, that stuff's important. So if you're single, keep it. And if you're in a couple, use it together to manifest more. Keep it together, use it together to manifest more. Semen retention was talked about in the yogic text, was talked about in the Indian text, was talked about in a lot of places. So if you're single, I would consider that I would recommend that you try it. Now, this is interesting. And this gets into the thing that we talked about yesterday about Cain and Abel and what those people, what the cross-clingers have always done, the sacrifice they've always made of the people that we know, but we're not going to say right here. Aristotle warned about engaging in sexual activity at too early an age because it will affect the growth of the bodies. And that's to say nothing of the growth of the mind or the growth of the spirit. Nourishment that would otherwise make the body grow is diverted to the production of semen. And nourishment that would have otherwise caused the intellect and the spirit to grow is also siphoned off. That's why, another reason why, those people do those things that they do to those people we won't talk about right now in order to prevent people to resist them when they grow up. Aristotle was saying that as a child, your body's still growing, and it's best for that energy to begin only after that growth is no longer abundant. For when the body is more or less at full height, the transformation of the nourishment into sexual fluid doesn't drain the body of needed materials for growth. Importantly, retention does not refer to the avoidance of orgasm. Because believe it or not, gentlemen and ladies, if you wanted to save as well, you can get to the place where you can learn to have orgasm without experiencing ejaculation. Wow, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? There's books. Now, we've all heard of the no-FAP people, no FAP. They avoid pornography, which is cheers to you. That's terrible stuff. And they also avoid masturbation. Orgasm and ejaculation are allowed with a partner, but solo sex is avoided. If that's what no-FAP is, that's smart. This sounds like they got it about right. Orgasm control, also referred to as edging, peaking, or surfing. Don't know why I read that. Orgasm and ejaculation are delayed, but eventually allowed at the end of the sexual session. Good to know. Thanks for sharing. Practitioners ascribe near mystical superpowers to semen conservation, or I would say energetic sharing between partners, because this is true of both situations. And I know from firsthand experience, or no-hand experience, as it were. Self-confidence and a notable boost in courage. There's a lot of people out there that need to stop masturbating because they ain't got no courage. But anyway, you become more attractive to the opposite sex. It's true. It's weird, but it's true. Gives you more energy and focus. Gives you more mental clarity and awareness. It gives you more motivation to go to the gym, create, think, date, socialize. Makes you more grounded, calm, significantly reduced anxiety. It increases your sex drive. It helps all that stuff right there. Gives you a deeper voice. Have you noticed how deep my voice is? Good for weight loss, muscle mass, better sleep, clearer skin. Power, ladies and gentlemen. And science backs that up. Semen retention does increase verifiable increase in testosterone, increase in brain androgen receptors, decrease in dopamine, decrease in prolactin, increase in serotonin. When men don't masturbate for 7 days, their testosterone levels increase by 45.7%. That's interesting. That's interesting. Traditional Chinese medicine cites 3 vital forces of life: Jing, or essence, along with Qi and Shen. It's considered the three treasures. And remember what Jing is. That's when Yang and Yin get together and make some Jing. And it's Qi and Shen. Jing is a life force. If you're reserving yourself when you're single, you're making Jing. If you're sharing it the right way when you're together, you're making Jing. It nourishes, it fuels, it cools the body. An important concept in internal martial arts. One is said to be born with a fixed amount of Jing. Who knew? You can acquire Jing from some foods and some from forms of stimulation, but Jing is very important. That's why if you're single, you got to keep that Jing. If you're a couple, you got to make that Jing. Jing's most concentrated form is believed to be in semen. Therefore, releasing outside of the body is directly a loss of Jing. In sexual intercourse with a woman, this is used to create new life, and not just a baby, but it creates new life in and of itself. However, if you're not producing something, again, if you go back to being selfish, the energy is wasted. Many Taoist practitioners think the loss of fluids is equal to the loss of life force. And if you're excessively losing it, whether as a single person just wasting it or as a coupled person wasting it, then you'll see aging, disease, and general fatigue. The union of a man and a woman results in Jing. In the act of lovemaking, Jing forms. The man transforms some of it into Qi, replenishes his life force. The woman does the same thing. And by having as much sex as possible, men and women have the opportunity to transform more and more Jing. And they'll see more and more healthy benefits. And will be more and more creators in this world. It helps a man with more imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, creative ability. Really important stuff. Oh, this is Napoleon Hill. Listen to what Napoleon Hill said. When driven by proper sexual desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times because they're getting that Jing that they can't get on their own. So strong and impelling is the desire for proper sexual contact that men freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge in it. When it's harnessed and redirected along the right lines, this motivating force maintains all of its attributes and keenness of imagination, courage, etc., which may be used as powerful creative forces in literature, art, or any other profession or calling, of course. And, of course, the accumulation of riches. That's from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. It said the accumulation of riches, not the accumulation of bitches. Come on now. Let's don't be silly out there. Wow. Wow. Interesting stuff. Let's finish up with this. This is good stuff. We'll put a bow on it. Not literally, because that would be weird, but let's put a bow on it. I don't know what you're into. Maybe. I don't know. Like in most things, true wisdom lies in the balance of the middle way. It's true that the individual can be served greatly in terms of energy and physiology by controlling orgasmic release. Men can serve vitality and women can serve it for future creative use. When in a loving couple, it seems the wisdom is to combine energetic essence to multiply and share it. This is me saying this. This works ideally between male and female. We talked about the other ways. Not saying you can't, just saying you're not going to get all you're supposed to get. In the seasons of singleness, my recommendation is to conserve. In seasons of togetherness, my recommendation is to share and create. And you will gain strength from the sharing, and we all gain strength from the sharing. We've all got things to do, and we can all help each other and help our communities as a whole as well. So let's go into the chat room real quick. And we had a lot of pre-show chats. Let me get past that. Let's see. Cynthia says, thank you, Elizabeth. I'm not sure what Elizabeth said. I can't go back that far. Jenny May says you can feel it from your belly to the top of your head if it's the right match. Interesting. Annie thought it was funny. Jama says jing-a-ling-ling. Okay, I asked for that. The jing is the mojo. Tracy says get jiggy. I mean jingy. I meant what I said. Give that yang. Mr. Man of God, I think might be agreeing. We pass the polarity on to the dudes. The elites understand these concepts, then reverse it for negative sex magic. I would agree with that. Powerful stuff. Let's see. What else? Give her that yang. More natural, energetically or physically. Yep. Right on, Jeff. Thank you for this video. My pleasure. Not literally, because, I mean, hey, it's, we're good. Thank you very much. It doesn't mean, it ain't mean a thing if it ain't got that yang. Ain't that the way it goes? Ain't that the way it is? Yes. Let's see. What else here? 2 men left on Earth. Humanity will not survive. Period. 2 chicks left on Earth. Humanity won't survive. Period. Same-sex relations unbalanced. It would seem so. It's not productive. And that's what we're here to do, is survive. And one of the basic way we survive is through procreation. Tracy's got me whistling. Well, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that jing. Yeah, doesn't rhyme, but it's still good. I like it. Facts are facts, and facts are stubborn things. Frustration produces nothing. Well, nothing good, that's for sure. People quite honestly overthink and complicate one of the most natural processes. That's true. That's interesting if you listen to that song. Thanks for sharing that, 51 Project. Thanks for sharing that. That's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Wow, some of you guys are just crazy. You're really, really crazy. What about women that can't get pregnant? Does that mean they're against nature? No. I mean, if something broke, something broke. It's just the way it is. It doesn't always come out right. And don't ever think that you're against nature because you can't get pregnant. It's just broke. Sorry, it's busted. That's okay. I hope it works otherwise. There's a right way and a wrong way. Yeah. And Tracy makes a great point. Fertility's been attacked by food, vaccines, chemtrails, etc. Wow, that's really good. Good comment, Tracy. I know women that can't have kids with some of the most nourishing people I've ever had the pleasure to know. I would agree with that. Interesting stuff. It works both ways, Cynthia says. Bread of life. What else? Yes, this is true. That's why I work with the people from the rocket. That's exactly why I work with the people from the rocket. New search on Western male sperm counts. They plummeted by 50% in the last 15 years. More sperm abnormalities. Big agenda against mankind. Rocket is out to try to reverse that agenda. Go to getmyrocket.com. Use the code CWB. And you'll be glad you did. That's the end of that. Back to our comments. It is magic. This is why we're the last generation of real humans. Right, Brandon. They've messed us up so bad that I don't know where we go from here. Got to go to dinner. Okay, bye. Rolling the hay behind the corn. Absolutely, man. Jeff, you're Going to understand a lot from this part, hence the statistics of schlong size. What? I don't understand what that means. I wish I hadn't read it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Too much information, Dwarney. Let's see. Also combine spinal stretches. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Very, very interesting stuff. Try it for 3 weeks and you'll see. Have and do, and you're right. I agree. I agree 100%. Something is always created during sex. Absolutely. If you don't increase your testosterone by physical exercise, you're shooting yourself in the foot. I don't know. Don't know. Thank you, KT. I appreciate that. Where'd you go? There she is. Thank you. Well, she said something else up there too. Where was it? Lost it. Good stuff. That's what I was saying thank you about. I'm so confused, says Dwarney. Interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting stuff. Thank you. I think it is good content. It's important content. Thank you, Annie. It is nice to see you, KT. It's been a minute. Let's see. Thanks, imaginary man. I think. Soy did attack fertility, no doubt about it. Many women who can't get pregnant are cured by simple chiropractic adjustment. Time to visit your chiropractor. Interesting stuff. Soy and being pinged by radiation. That's not helping anything. Oh, God. This is so bad, some of you. Cell phones in your pocket, not a great idea. Probably not. Not that front pocket. Bad idea. Well, see, folks, this is interesting stuff. You think, oh, boy, I don't know if I want to listen to this, but aren't you glad that you did? If you're a woman, you got some great ideas here. You know how important you are. If you're a man, you got some great ideas. And you got some even greater ideas. If you're single, you got some great ideas and news you can use. If you're a couple, you got some great ideas and news you can use. I am here to serve. And I think we served up some good stuff there for you. We are really here to help you unindoctrinate yourself, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. And unindoctrinate yourself just doesn't mean spiritually and religiously. You unindoctrinate yourself in all areas of your life, and this is part of it. And I'm glad to be of service. I'm glad to be of help, and I hope that you will put this into practice, or not in practice, as it were, and as you would. Boy, this is like, anyway, for the lovely and very desired Tracy Dyer, our great moderator, and for the lovely Cynthia, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, saluting you for being here, seeking after truth. And I'm reminding you to unindoctrinate yourself. And this time when I say it, it might have multiple meanings. I'm encouraging you all to get busy.